This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
The opinions expressed in the following programs are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect those of Rogers Cable or Rogers TV.
Hi, and welcome to Politically Speaking. I'm David Shearman. My guest today is the Warden of Bruce County, Chris Peabody, who also is the Mayor of Brockton, if I recall. Is that right? Got that right, Chris?
Yes, it is.
So you are what is called a double hatter.
That's right. That's right. And the warden term, I found it's peculiar to this area, but a lot of people outside of Bruce Grey, Simcoe, don't know what the term warden means. So sometimes I have to tell them it's like a double mayor. And though I was just scrolled through the TV last night, and I saw there's a reality show, Yellowstone Warden. And that's all about tracking down people doing poaching. So maybe now that's a trending reality show. People will associate it more with that type of warden. But I would prefer to change the name sometime. But my term of warden will be up, and I'll be passing it off to someone else. So probably not worth the struggle of changing a 150-year-old tradition.
Probably not. Probably not. And I'm not sure you want to be known as a game warden.
Right. I just prefer the double mayor. So
absolutely, I think that's an excellent way of describing the role of warden, because as we said just before we started, you were told that it's a lot of work and you didn't realize it, but it is.
Yeah, everybody told me, certainly when I took the job on, all the travel that you'll have to do and all the miles you put on your vehicle, and I didn't totally believe it. I thought, oh, I'll be able to handle it. And sometimes the work's a little bit overwhelming. This week's a little bit of a week off, but I know in June, I think I've got just about every day booked. Conferences, dinners, openings. I really enjoy the job, but I'll certainly be glad when the intensity of the hours goes away come December when somebody else is the warden. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity. So I take advantage of every request I get to go somewhere, because I know next year those requests won't come in as much. They'll just be restricted to Walkerton.
Yes. And then that's a whole, you just go back to wearing a single hat.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think people have to remember, too, that like the MP and MPP for Bruce Grey Owen Sound, is a long distance between Tobermory and Dundalk, or Tobermory and Walkerton. So you've got our Kincardine. So there's a lot of territory in Grey Bruce.
Yeah, a lot of territory. Most events occur between Saugeen Shores. I get a lot. Kincardine, Aaron Elderslie, and being Grey Bruce, I get a lot of requests to go to Owen Sound tomorrow. I'll be up at opening of the Sydenham campus that Grey County's doing on the the trades training and the makerspace. So
right, yes, that's a lot of things are happening. That's for sure. But let's talk about Bruce County for a moment, because you've got some very interesting innovation around reconciliation that you are bringing in. Tell us a bit about that.
yes, as a former high school teacher, I was an early adopter in promoting First Nations rights and treaty rights with my students. I was able to incorporate that into my geography lessons and spent a lot of time visiting Nawash and Saugeen. So jumping forward 30 years, it's a great honor as a warden to be able to promote better relations between Bruce County and the Chippewas of Nawash and Saugeen. So our staff, we hired a consultant from out of the area who worked with all our staff members. We did a lot of training and PD, and each department has put together a plan to address maybe service gaps that existed between our First Nations peoples and the rest of Bruce County, to address what we were doing well. And we want to have some tangible outcomes. So over the last few months, I presented that plan to both of the band councils for drafts and gotten some input. And on June 20th, we'll be adopting the plan at Bruce County Council. So it's going to be a big deal. It's going to, I'm really happy that we're moving forward. Organizations like Bruce Power, I've noticed, admired them. They've been very far advanced in their engagement with our First Nations residents. And so I'm very happy that the county can learn some lessons from them and our consultant and catch up and try to advance reconciliation. So one little small effort that we're going to initiate right away is, of course, I have to get approval from county council before I do anything, but I think it's a good idea. The Chief Ritchie has asked us to have signs under the Bruce County signs announcing that this is part of the Saugeen Ojibwe territory. Of course, their territory goes far beyond Bruce County, but on our Bruce County signs, you can come into Tobermory and down at Point Clark, and of course, Walkerton. I think it would be appropriate to honor the traditional lands with a sign. I know it's a small gesture, but it's a start.
That's a very interesting idea because I don't know whether people realize, but the Saugeen Ojibwe Nation goes as far as the Big Head River, as far east as the Big Head, as far south as Arthur, all the way down to Goderich. And everything in between. It is a massive piece of this province, and these are the traditional lands of the Saugeen Ojibwe Nation. So let's hope that other municipalities will take up that particular gesture and action for reconciliation.
Yeah, and then a larger, bigger price service gap that we've identified is going out to Chippewas of Nawash. There's 9 kilometers of road that's not county road. So you've got a community of 800 people that is not served by a county road. And in Ontario, it would be rare to find a settlement area that is not served by a major road, by a municipal road. And those municipal roads don't get the same snow plowing as a county road or a provincial highway. So the county road standard is twice a day for the snow plowing, whereas municipal, we just send our plows out early in the morning, and if it snows at 5, if it's really bad, we might send them out, but usually there is not a second shift. So it does, some of the band members there raised safety concerns to me. How can you allow this to happen where we have people, 800 people, driving into Wyerton, going to the hospital, going to the schools, and they don't have the same safety standards for the snow plowing. So that's a bigger issue because it involves South Bruce Peninsula and the county, and of course the Nawash Works Department. But as warden, certainly something I'd like to see. I've asked for our roads department. What sort of plan can we come up with to address that safety concern, that service gap, and what will it cost, of course, and how do we transfer some of the costs? I mean, because it's a South Bruce Peninsula road, and we might have to have our second shift for the county plow it, but then who would pay for it? But all those things have to be worked out. Of course, I can't make promises as warden. I can just take those ideas and put them before staff and then before council for a vote.
Right. Well, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. So when you're back the next time, and there will be a next time, Chris, that I look forward to hearing about that. But let's move on to something else that is on everyone's mind these days, and that's housing. And there was back earlier in the spring, you had a housing plan, and the government said, "Whoa, just wait." And so, where is that file at today in Bruce County?
Yeah, we had our official plan, which of course wants to make better use of the inclusionary zoning and give zoning tools to allow more density. There's been so many changes to the provincial policy statements on planning over the last few years that we put our official plan on hold. It's been on hold now for 14 months. We hope to bring it forward, and that's that's a long range piece. But we also, our council, we appointed a community commissioner, and we seconded her from the planning department to work totally on issues of, well, engaging the First Nations as well as working on big mega projects such as the DGR and housing. So we had a housing forum in the spring, and we had some great guests from Indwell and Graham and Emma Cubitt. They're based in Hamilton, but they've renovated an old mill in Paisley. It's part of Brockton, but it's in Paisley, right on the border. So they're my residents, my voters. So it was great to have them. They have a portfolio of 1,200 affordable housing units they built throughout the province. And Indwell is a Christian charity, and the two of them are just completely inspirational. Wonderful people who have devoted their lives to social housing. And we hope to adopt some of their ideas. So at the forum, they challenged us to try to get some of these nonprofit affordable housing projects done in 6 months. Cut the red tape, the zoning, the funding. Don't let any of those things be your impediment. So I've been inspired by them as mayor of Brockton, and I'm going to push ahead and partner with a nonprofit and a for-profit and get something built. So I've got a motion on the floor at Brockton Council to declare a piece of land surplus to the needs of the municipality. We'll donate it. And then the other stakeholders will build, to try to build 8 townhomes that are in the affordable price range. And so I'm inspired by Graham and Emma. I'm just going to push it through. And already my staff is wanting me to go slower, but I said, no. Graham and Emma had said at the Bruce County Housing Forum, 6 months. So it is a challenge getting just all the rules. It's very difficult. And then, of course, you got the somebody has to raise the capital money from CMHC or wherever, but we're just going to push it through. And then Bruce Power, they've listened to our community commissioner about the need to participate more in the housing sector as a large employer, and they've put up $250,000 for communities in Huron, Graham, Bruce to access for seed money for planning studies. So if you need an official plan change or a zoning in your town to get these units built, might be about 10 or 20,000. They're going to give money. So my first motion at Brockton is we're going to get, our goal is to be the first applicant for the planning money from Bruce Power. It opens on Monday, the fund. I want to be the first.
So that's the 3rd of June.
Yes.
Yeah,
3rd of June. So that's where we're at with that. The traditional model of county housing is you get a certain number of units per year. So you can build the social housing, the traditional county social housing model. And in Bruce County, it takes us about 10 years to save up enough money and get enough grants from the province to build 35 units because we're a small county. That model just doesn't work anymore. So we need other solutions. That model's fine. We're still going to stick to it. And we are going to plan a county build in the future. There'll be some competition between the county council mayors. Might be in Walkerton, might be in Saugeen Shores, might be in Wyerton, might be in Tobermory. But one of those every 10 years just doesn't work.
Especially with the need across Grey Bruce. Housing is a desperate situation.
Desperate. Yeah. So and then of course the whammy with inflation and builders not being able to build anything remotely cheaply anymore. So it's a struggle, but it's people's number one priority. And I think it's there's some surveys out there about how angry younger people are with how things are working out. And housing is probably the prime reason why our younger people are becoming disassociated and a bit angry with government because we can't get anything done on housing. Of course, it's not simply our role; it's the private sector too. But we are politically, we're in danger of having a whole generation become totally disenfranchised and unbelieving in the power of government to help.
Good point. I think that that is certainly a risk. Where you're halfway through your term as mayor, and I'm sure you have seen the changes in the attitudes, in the feedback from people since COVID. I don't think there's a politician I've talked to who hasn't noticed the change.
Yeah, it's certainly, and people are a lot less socially engaged. So we've lost that social engagement. We're also seeing, I don't know if it's linked to COVID, but simply not as many volunteers. Some of our service clubs losing the next generation, people not joining. We've got some strong service clubs in Walkerton. So, for example, in Brockton, we've got the Cargill Community Foundation, and it's defied some of the trends. They've got an awful lot of young people that have joined that organization, kept it going. They've got a big, energetic homecoming. I'm seeing a lot of my students that I taught running the committees for the homecoming. So that's a positive story. It's a group that's defied those trends. But I also seeing some of our service clubs where the average age might be 70. So it is concerning how small communities are going to keep moving forward with service clubs declining.
Very much so, and it doesn't matter what it is, but all of those groups are a part of the social fabric of every community.
Yes.
Yeah. The other big file, and that is very, I won't say dominant, but in some ways it is, for Grey Bruce is energy.
Yes.
And I know over in Bruce, the pump storage project is not something that is of great interest to you, but the flip side of that is that it was just announced that the Grey Owl storage facility in Erin Elderslie will be going ahead. And that's basically a big lithium storage battery system.
Yes. Yeah. Well, jumping back to the pump storage, we do have TC Energy coming out to Bruce County. I did invite them. I think it's an important project for Bruce because the power probably come from Bruce Power that's going to be stored at night, as well as we do have an awful lot of Georgian Bay shoreline on that side that doesn't exactly face the project, but almost. And so TC Energy is going to come out and ask for the same letter of support that Grey County gave them a month ago. So that'll be an interesting presentation. That will happen in June. And then the battery storage. I took some exception to the battery storage proposals at the end of the process. I was initially supportive of it. There were 7 in Grey Bruce, and we only ended up getting 1. And it took the staff of all those municipalities an awful lot of work, an awful lot of time, an awful lot of public meetings. The groups that came to us didn't understand the planning process. And at one public meeting, I had to stand up and explain how the planning process worked. But I didn't think that was appropriate for me because I wasn't the proponent of the project. So it became a bit frustrating. It took us and Brockton a lot of staff time. So yes, Erin Elderslie, out of the 7 applications, Erin Elderslie on the county line, just close to the Sauble River there, is the winner. But now they're going to have to do the rezoning for the property. It's A1. Prime Ag and environmental protection. So that will be a contentious planning process, which, of course, the county will be involved in because the planning in Bruce County, unlike Grey, has been totally contracted out to the county. So we do all the planning work for the lower tiers. So that will be a contentious process.
Well, let me ask you too: are local emergency services prepared for these storage battery projects? Because there is some concern about that. They're basically lithium batteries and big lithium batteries, and they can have some problems. Has
Yes.
that been discussed?
Well, they do. They definitely are dangerous when they start to burn. They burn hot. My son, he makes these batteries down in Austin, in Tesla. He's a robotics engineer, and I asked him what he thought, and I thought he'd just say, "Oh, it's 100% safe," and he said, "No, these are dangerous. The production of these is dangerous. You need to take this whole thing very seriously. Don't slough off the safety." And so the fire departments will need special training. The proponent in Brockton did agree to provide money, quite a bit of money to our fire department. So I don't know where Gray Owl's at, but our fire department was going to be fully funded for the training and extra equipment. So
Well, that's good to hear.
that part
That's
was good. But then, of course, there's concerns about whatever these batteries emit when they're burning.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Very much so. It's toxic.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I'd say. It's toxic. It's
Yeah.
bad stuff.
Yeah.
And they're very, very hard. I understand the fire itself is very hard to put out because you can't use water.
Right. Right. So, yeah. Anyway, Brockton did not win the lottery. So after that, I told them not to come back.
Well, neither did Mayford. So I don't know what Ross Cantor has said to them, but that actually was a little bizarre because they planned to put a battery station or a battery I don't know what you call it facility on the border of Owen Sound.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And held a public meeting in Bognor.
In Bognor, and then it was on Superior Road. There, it was. Never been down that road, but it's where the cement plant is. Was it beside the cement plant? Yeah.
Yes, right. Yeah. And I'm thinking this is a little nuts, but anyway.
Yeah.
we shall see. At least this will be the test, and we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's the IESO that actually does the approval, is it not?
ISO puts it out there, and it's like a shotgun approach. They say,
Right.
we're going to store 2,000 megawatts. Send us your proposals for these were broken into four. Most of them were about 400, 300 megawatts. So they were scattered throughout the province, and only a few. If I'd known we wouldn't have put so much effort into it if we'd known how low the odds were of getting one.
Sure. High energy, high requirements at the municipal level, at the upper tier level, and what's the old expression? The elephant gave birth to a mouse.
Yeah. So
anyway, we're taping this in at the end of May, June, and probably not talking again until the fall, but over the summer. We've got AMO coming up. Are you planning to be present?
I'll be present there, and I'm going to run for a position on AMO, on the county caucus. So at AMO, I want to advance some important issues. One thing we haven't talked about is long-term care. The county's getting squeezed on long-term care. We can't raise the rates very much, but our costs keep going up. We're spending an awful lot of money on agency nurses and PSWs that are costing us more and more because you can't shut down a long-term care home. It's not like an emergency room, which is another kettle of fish, but you can't shut it down.
We'll leave Durham out of this, shall we?
Because I just want to advance that issue of making sure that we're properly funded for our long-term care homes. Gray has 3, we have 2, and it's putting an awful lot of pressure on the tax base along with the housing file. And then another priority would be that I touched on is when there's large energy mega projects coming to a community, we don't see the tax benefits for decades. And I believe that there should be a provincial framework put in place that municipalities don't fund these projects, the infrastructure, out of their tax base and then have to wait years for the economic benefits to flow into the community.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's an ongoing issue because municipalities have to fund the infrastructure, but have to wait for the payback.
Yes.
It doesn't matter whether it's water or sewer or fire services,
Yeah. Yeah.
policing services.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, it should be interesting to see what happens at AMO.
Yes.
Very interesting.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. It's in Ottawa. So.
That should be even more interesting.
Yeah.
Although the House won't be in session, it'll be in Ottawa.
No.
So, what are your plans for the summer? Just preparing for AMO? Is it going to be county council business? Doesn't change.
Well, I've got a lot of events to go to. Got a big conference next week on nuclear medicine, so Ian Body and I will be there because we're interested in getting the Grey Bruce area into the isotope business.
Mm-hmm.
Expanding on Bruce Power as the raw product, but we'd like to see some advances in the research of using those, Dolan Sound Hospital, or producing them somewhere in Grey Bruce.
Yes, that is a critical issue, and the nuclear isotope business is certainly something that is emerging for Grey Bruce, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, one of the benefits of Bruce Power.
That's right.
Yeah. It's going to be, like I said, an interesting summer. There are, as we speak, there are rumors of elections, and maybe not. And I know, rolling your eyes.
Yeah.
So am I.
Yeah. Yeah.
But time will tell. Time will tell, Chris. Anyway, first of all, I want to thank you. We're just out, believe it or not, we're out of time. I want to thank you for being a part of Politically Speaking and talking about a whole bunch of things. And when we catch up in the fall, and we will, I'm sure you'll have stories to tell, as all good politicians do.
Yes, I will. Yes, definitely.
All right. Thank you, Chris. And thank you, friends.
Thank you very much, David.
All right. Thank you, friends, for being a part of Politically Speaking. I'm David Shearman, and yes, we'll talk again.
Connect with us by visiting our website or email us at comments@rogerstv.com.
This is a brain in urgent need of mental health care. But because 3 out of every 4 Indigenous people experience racism in healthcare,